Hello, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to my live. So, what's the subject for the live today? Well, we're going to talk about DACA, updates on DACA, as far as they go. And as most of you might know, the state of immigration tomorrow might be quite different than the state of immigration today. So I'm giving it to you as it is today, okay? So what I'll do is I'll go through some live updates on DACA, what to expect, what some of your options are, and then I'll go back and answer whatever questions you have, of course, related to immigration. And it could be any immigration, legal immigration, illegal immigration, visas, non-immigrant waivers, appeals, adjustment, naturalization. I could say that all in one breath. Citizenship, the whole kit and caboodle, okay? And when I say immigration, I mean U.S. immigration. If you ask me how to immigrate to Canada or Australia, I'm going to have to refer you out, okay? So anyways, let's talk about DACA, and let's get some updates on it so you're clear. So, it's been going back and forth. And what DACA, just for a brief overview, DACA is for the kids who came here as little kids. They generally have gone to college. Their parents are still not here legally. And they meet various requirements, been here for a certain number of years. And now they get a work permit type thing and, don't have to worry about deportation. And this was all issued by executive order. Didn't go through Congress, wasn't legislative at all. And it's been going back and forth in the courts over the years, and ultimately they filed, some lawsuit in Texas that stopped everything. And essentially 2 days ago, a decision came down and more or less said that the issuance of DACA over the executive decision and the way it was wasn't lawful, but it kept the ability for people to currently, qualify for DACA, apply for renewal for DACA and so forth. So it's kind of weird. It's a strange decision. On one hand, it's kind of dead, but on the other hand, you can still continue forward. So given that, what do you do? Well, obviously, if you qualify, you should do it. And obviously, if you can renew it, you should do it. Okay. But one thing's for sure. If you apply for advanced parole, that's where you can, get authorization from the government to leave the country and then come back without a problem. The big key in the sentence I just said was without a problem. It's going to be a problem now, okay? I would not leave the United States on DACA with advanced parole, even if you have an approved advanced parole right now. Unless your mother is dying, don't leave, okay? A lot of times what people do when they get temporary stay here on some, program, TPS, DACA, whatever it is, they just sort of relax, go to the beach, have fun, and do nothing else, and that's sort of talking about their immigration status, right? But what you should be doing, especially because you're safely here on DACA, is you should be looking for an alternative status or a more permanent status while you're safely here. Okay? I mean, it's kind of like swimming from one side of the, one side of the ocean to another part of the ocean. Okay? If there's no sharks, you're just going to take your time. You're going to think about it. You're going to exercise. You're going to have a good time going. You might look for alternatives, alternative paths. But if you start swimming and a shark comes up behind you, all reason is gone. Okay, you're panicked. You're not thinking straight. You might not make it to the other end. So it's kind of a strange example I give, but it's sort of the same thing. Okay? If you're here on DACA right now, you're like swimming from one side of the shore to the other, and you're safe. You can take your time. You can plan your route, navigate, you know, do what you want to do, find other ways. But if you don't do anything, and DACA ends, the way things are today, it might end tomorrow. It might end a week from now. You might get it granted advanced parole a month from now, leave, say hi to grandma, and then advanced parole is vacated. Okay? So while you're, and when all that happens, that's when the shark comes behind you, okay? And that's when you wish you had done something when the waters were clear. So as it stands now, you're safe. You can still do it, although, I wouldn't leave on advanced parole. But look for other ways. And just because you don't know of any other ways doesn't mean there's not any other ways. I can't tell you the number of times that people have come into my office after spending $10,000 to pay a coyote to get him across the border when I could have got him across for half that price legally on all different kinds of ways. Okay, so just get a consultation from an immigration attorney. Find different ways. You might qualify. There's all kinds of visas. There's alphabet soup, right? And your history might give you the opportunity to apply for a non-immigrant visa that leads to the green card. You might have an employment-based route that leads to the green card. You might have a family-based route that leads to the green card. Okay? You might be in removal proceedings, and that might lead to the green card. So don't just sit there on DACA and do nothing and think you're safe forever, especially now. I mean, especially now. Okay? So, relatively short go-around on this, but important. Okay? The idea is to maintain legal status here however you can, even if it's temporary. But if it is temporary, find a better way while you're on the temporary status. Okay, temporary doesn't mean do nothing else. It just means, they can't come to your door and deport you tomorrow and that you're eligible for a work permit. That's what it means. What it should also mean is that it's time to get down to business and find a way to get the green card. Okay? All kinds of ways. All right? All right, so let me scroll to the beginning here, see what we got. Anyways, I hope everybody is doing well. I heard a joke this morning. I guess we could put it under dad joke. What did the turkey say to the hunter on Thanksgiving morning? Quack, quack. Get it? Okay, I laughed at it. Okay, anyways, let's see what we got here. Let's see if we got any questions. 1 second. Okay. All right, here's one. I have a removal order on asylum and VAWA case. Approved motion to reopen, BIA pending in my safe. Believe it or not, I remember you asked this question about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, a month ago, whatever. I remember it, and I answered it. And now you're asking the same question again, okay? You either want to see if I'm going to answer you the same, or you think I forgot. So, if you have the removal order on asylum and VAWA, again, I need to know why it was removed, why it was denied. Okay, the burden of proof on VAWA is less, a lot less than on asylum. Did they think you were lying? Were you not battered? Were you not married to a U.S. citizen or lawful permanent resident? And if you were, what was the deal? If you are saying that you filed for asylum because you were battered, did you properly designate the particular social group at trial? Okay? When you say the VAWA case is approved, and I think that's what you're saying, I'm assuming the VAWA case was approved. You then went to the BIA, said, look, I have an approved VAWA case even though I have a denied asylum case. Help me out here. Okay. You might not be doing this properly, and that's why procedurally I need to see. I'm sure I told you this before. I need to see what's going on. Okay? The way you get help is to contact me. Because if you have a removal order, for example, and it was never appealed, which it might not have been, then trying to do a motion to reopen with the BIA is the wrong jurisdictional organization to do this. If the BIA denied it, did they deny it before or after the VAWA was approved? Okay? Or was the appeal done before or after? So procedurally, there's a lot of questions here that I'd have to see. So I can't just say, yes, you're safe, or no, you're not safe. Okay? A motion to reopen by itself does not grant a stay of deportation. It does if it's an in absentia motion, which means that, you were ordered deported because you didn't know you had court, but you obviously knew you had court because you had asylum, you applied, and you lost. So given that, the answer is no. You are not granted an automatic stay of deportation by filing a motion to reopen with the BIA. What would be more important is to make sure if you have a VAWA case that's been approved after a denied asylum, that you procedurally do what you have to do to get either back into court or either consulate process or get a termination or, there's all kinds of stuff. If you're doing this yourself, you shouldn't be, okay? Especially the way things are today. It would be a shame if you get thrown out of the country because you didn't properly do it and you think that you're safe when you're not. Okay? So I need more information on that to properly answer you. I'm sure I said that before. Okay, let's see. Let me go down here, see what other questions we have. Excuse me. Can a permanent resident with category AS7 travel to his or her country of origin? Okay, well, first of all, I don't know what AS7 is. Okay? I mean, I have lots of things in my head. Believe me, it's amazing how much things are in my head. But I don't know what AS7 is. I don't know if it's spelled incorrectly or whatever. I mean, and if it's not spelled incorrectly, just put here what it is and I'll let you know. Okay? I can tell you that if you're a permanent resident, I think what you might be referring to, you might be referring to the fact that you got the green card based on asylum. I suspect that's what you're referring to. And you're now thinking because you got the green card based on asylum, basically saying you fear going back because you're going to be killed type thing, is it safe for you to go back to your home country because now they're going to think you're lying? Okay? And the answer is yes, it's safe. I mean, whether it's physically safe for you to go back, I don't know. But as far as the green card goes, it's safe. Obviously you don't want to say things like, yeah, I beat immigration by lying about the bad conditions in Venezuela. I got the green card. Now I'm going to go back to Venezuela and party. Okay. You want to, there's all kinds of ways of going back without violating or contradicting your story as to why you got asylum. Okay. I mean, chances are you're going back to visit your mother and you're going to keep a low profile. You're probably not going to go back and, start protesting at the Capitol, about the politics. Okay? So the answer is yes. It's most likely, assuming this is what you're referring to. Okay? So let's see what we got here. Just scrolling down some more. Let's see. Are they trying to deport the Asians too? I mean, without getting too specific, they being the Trump administration is trying to reverse every type of immigration law that allows people to enter the country, okay? Especially asylum. A lot of things have already been revoked. And, of course, lawsuits are going to go forward, and we'll see how that happens. But, yeah, it seems like they're trying to deport everybody who's not a U.S. citizen. But I don't lose sleep over that because I know there's a lot of tools in our toolbox of immigration attorneys that we can use to fight the unconstitutional removal of people from the U.S. that legally, oh, thanks, thank you very much, that have a right to stay here, okay? I feel like I'm at a party. Thanks. So, yeah, the point is not what they're trying to do. I understand why you're asking it, because you need to know. I mean, I understand that. But the more important point is that we're fighting it. I mean, look at the first big lawsuit that was filed less than 24 hours after he took office. He makes an executive decision saying that, people born in the U.S. to essentially people who are not U.S. citizens are no longer citizens. Just, signs it like a king, right? Within one day, and by one day I mean less than 24 hours, a big lawsuit was filed in Boston, which was signed on by attorneys general of 22 states. So half the country had a lawsuit ready to rock and roll less than a day after. And that's less than one day, okay? So, we got 4 years to fight this. So that's how it's going to go, okay? Dwan Hall got the number 2 gifter badge. Thank you. Do you think it's safe to travel with AP/DACA? That's what this whole live is about. See, all that means is you joined late, because I've been saying, if you have DACA and you have advanced parole, I think it's absolutely positively not safe to travel. Do not travel. Don't. I mean, DACA's here now. It might be gone tomorrow. What if you get advanced, I assume you already have advanced parole. What if you leave to go visit grandpa tomorrow, and 3 days from now, DACA is vacated as being illegal? They could fight it up and down for the next 2 years, but you're outside the country while they're fighting it. Don't leave. Don't leave with advanced parole and DACA. Stay here. If you have DACA, fight and find how to get the green card with DACA. Don't worry about leaving. That's not your priority. Okay? All right. Myra Rodriguez got the number 3 gifter badge. Thank you. Okay. Can I be deported if I have a work permit on the way? Well, the answer is yes, but it also depends. I need to know on what basis you applied for the work permit. Obviously, if the work permit's on the way, has it been approved? When you say on the way, does that mean you applied for it yesterday and you're not sure if it's going to get approved? Okay. Keep in mind, because this is the impression that people have. They think now, because of the way things are, which I understand why they think it. The fear is thank you very much, Nordia. Fear is what the current administration uses, right? So they're not going to just come to your door and throw you out the country. You have a right to fight your case to stay here. You have a right to appeal. You have your right to appeal again. You have a right to do all kinds of things, okay? Just don't sign a thing saying, please deport me because I'm fearful that you're going to deport me, okay? Don't sign any of that. Just say, well, my immigration attorney told me I wasn't supposed to deport, okay? All right. TikTok user, and then 20 different numbers, got the number 2 gifter badge. King Sandra took over the number 2 gifter badge. So, comes and it goes. You know how it is. Okay. Missionary Gallo got the number 3 gifter badge. All right. People don't have a choice. Adjusting your status isn't easy. Nothing in immigration is easy. Nothing. That's why it humors me sometimes when I'll get an email for a consult. They'll go, I want to come to the U.S. Can you please give me the easiest way to come here? I said, well, there is no easy way, but I can give you the realistic ways, and I can tell you about how long it'll take and what you have to jump through and go through to get here. But you want an easy way, don't come to the U.S. Okay, that's the bottom line. That's the bottom line. Okay. What if my DACA was denied, but now I'm married to a U.S. citizen? Can I start a petition? Is very possible. Okay, I need to have more information about you. But yeah, I mean, there's nothing saying you can't apply for U.S. You can't apply for residency just because your DACA was denied. First, I need to know why was your DACA denied. Was it denied because you have a crime? And does that crime make you inadmissible? And if it does, we need to see if there's a waiver available. How did you enter the country? The fact that you say you applied for DACA probably indicates you did not enter legally, okay? And because of that, you're probably not going to qualify to adjust status. So the issue is, being married to a U.S. citizen, can you consulate process? And if you do, of course, you're going to be subject to the 10-year bar. So then the issue becomes, can you do a provisional waiver of the 10-year bar before you walk 1 foot outside the country? And assuming there's no grounds of inadmissibility other than unlawful presence, you can, even if you have a denied DACA. So it's definitely doable. Okay, you're welcome. All right. Tommy Blankety Blank got the number 3 gifter badge. Thank you. Let's see. I have to renew my DACA next year, 2026. Should I send my application right away? Yes. Send it the moment you qualify. The moment you qualify. Okay? If you send it too early, then no. I mean, it's like with naturalization. Some people hear, well, I can file it 90 days before eligibility. So they go, well, let me send it 95 days. Well, they sent it 95 days before, and it gets thrown out because it didn't meet, they didn't meet the qualifications. They do it 90 days before, perfect. Okay, so do it as soon as you can. So all the immigrants in your house should be worried. Well, I mean, I'm not quite sure how to answer that. I guess they can be worried, but I wouldn't have an ulcer over it because there's going to be lawyers fighting up and down for 4 years now. Like they say, we're getting all the tools out of the box, getting ready to fight. That's it. Okay, we know what's going to happen. It's just a matter of fighting it all. It's all going to go to the courts. I mean, my guess is a month from now, there's probably going to be 20 lawsuits filed. At least. Okay, that's how it goes. Okay, overstayed visa on C1/D. Can I travel with my foreign passport by bus or phone or plane, which is safe? Well... Are you saying, can you travel inside the United States with your foreign passport? Okay. First of all, nothing's real safe for you right now. And it depends what jurisdiction you go to. Sometimes you'll go to a place that, regardless if it's a bus, or a train or whatever, they might have immigration officials on the other side. What you need to do is not worry so much about traveling, but see if there's a way to obtain legal status. And I don't know how long you've overstayed. Okay, if you haven't overstayed, more than 6 months, then you're not going to be subject to the 10-year bar, and it might be necessary or beneficial to leave and then find a legal way to immigrate. Okay, I've had DACA since it started. Am I safe? I mean, at the present time, yes. Ask me tomorrow, I might have a different answer. Okay, that's why I'm trying to push here. Don't just stay on DACA and not do anything. I mean, if you've had DACA since it started, you've been on it a long time. But don't think it's going to last forever, especially now. Okay? You can contact my office. I'll find a way to help you. Okay? Do you think it's a good idea for advanced parole? Well, that depends. Okay? Advanced parole for DACA, as we've been talking about, is an absolute no. Okay? If you get advanced parole, for example, if you're doing an adjustment of status and there's no inadmissibility issues, then that should not be a problem. So it depends. Advanced parole, but under what basis? Okay. Just a minute. I have to scroll. I just scrolled all the way down. Oh, do you have to go out of the country for legal entry? Is that the only way to get legal entry? Well, I could talk an hour about that question. Okay. There's different situations where you have the fiction of legal entry. I mean, let's just pretend that you married, let's say you married someone, okay, and you don't qualify to adjust status because you don't have legal entry. Let's say you married a U.S. citizen and you don't have, you can't adjust. But let's say that citizen is in the military, okay, you can do what's called a parole in place. Okay, parole in place application is submitted, and if it's approved, it makes the fiction that you have legal entry even though you really don't. And then you can adjust. Do you see? So that's the super condensed version of, how you can have legal entry without leaving, okay? If I get married to a U.S. citizen, will I still be able to fill out the I-140 form now? The I-130. Yeah, but that's not the end of the game, okay? You could have 32 crimes, be here illegally, and whatever, and still marry a U.S. citizen, file the I-130. The real question is, will the I-130 be approved, and then do you qualify to adjust? You're welcome. And if you adjust, or if you can't adjust, can you cancel a process? And there's their waivers, okay? What about TPS protection? Well, who knows? Okay? The reality is if Trump can end TPS protection, he will. If it, and TPS is generally given executively. That is, okay? The executive branch is the one who would issue TPS protection, which that's not going to happen in today's day and age. So, I'm talking about if you have DACA, how you have to do what you have to do to find another way to get the green card or status. Take what I said about DACA, only more with TPS. More with TPS, okay? Is it okay to travel with asylum and advance parole? I wouldn't. Okay? Most of the time you wouldn't even get advance parole with asylum, but if you do, I wouldn't. Especially now. You know that Trump just cut and tried to stop all the legal ways of coming in on asylum. I know that's that's a generalized statement. There's going to be a lot of lawsuits and all that. But unless you like gambling, and I mean gambling and not winning, I would not leave unless your mother was dying on advance parole with asylum. Try to win the asylum. Try to get a better asylum case, okay? If you're representing yourself, get an attorney to supplement the package and make a better asylum. Okay. Let's see. Would you advise people with criminal records or married to USC to file or not file at this time? Okay, well, I need to see what the crime is, okay? I would absolutely recommend to file if you qualify for a waiver. I need to see if you qualify to adjust, if you qualify for a waiver, if you have to do a provisional waiver, whatever it is. Don't just stay there and do nothing. Being married to USC, if you qualify and you can do a waiver, you absolutely should. But make sure it's done properly. Do you think you should do advanced parole now that Trump is back? The general answer to that would be no, okay? But it depends on what the basis of the advanced parole is, okay? There are times where I might not just flat out say no, but for the most part, I would say no. Let's see. Just a minute. This person says, I don't think it's safe to travel right now. That's probably a true statement. Just a minute. Okay, here we go. I haven't renewed my green card in a few years. Can I get deported if I stop by ICE? Why would you stop by ICE? Okay, if you're stopped by ICE. Okay, well, first of all, if your green card expires, that doesn't mean your lawful permanent residence. You're welcome. That doesn't mean your lawful permanent residence expires. You're still a lawful permanent resident. You just don't have current proof of it. Okay? So why haven't you renewed your green card? A lot of times people don't do that because they have a crime and they're afraid they're going to be put in removal proceedings. So I need to know why you haven't renewed it. If you haven't renewed it because you just haven't renewed it, you might qualify for citizenship. And you don't need to have the physical green card to apply for citizenship if you are a resident, which you are. And sometimes, believe it or not, the law in becoming a citizen is easier than, renewing your green card and then staying out of removal proceedings. So I need to know what the real deal is, why you didn't renew your green card. Okay, you're waiting for your I-45 and I-130 decisions. Should I renew my DACA before it expires? Yes. Yes. I mean, there's nothing wrong with renewing it. It's still eligible for you to do it. There's no reason not to, especially since you don't have a fortune cookie and can't tell for sure if the 485 will be approved. Okay. USCIS received my RFE for the I-64 137 days ago. Okay, well, it depends what the RFE was for. I mean, I see you say it's for the I-864. That's a long time. You should have heard something by now. If enough time passes, you can actually file a writ of mandate against USC to force them to make a decision, but they only do that in cases that are clearly approvable. I have DACA, and a petty theft as a minor crime will affect me now at the Riley Lakely Act. It might. Okay? It might. Technically, if you have petty theft as a minor, that can't be used against you as an admissibility with immigration. But given I said that, there are issues that could come up. Okay? So call me. There's issues that could come up. What about TPS in Nepal? Will it extend? Who knows? I wouldn't put my money on it, though. I'd see if there's other ways you can obtain status. I applied for advanced parole and waiting on a decision. If it's approved, it's still safe to travel. There's a lot of questions that ask in one way or another the same thing. And again, it depends on why you applied for advanced parole. But no, I wouldn't travel generally unless it's very specifically based on something that there's no inadmissibility issues. Okay. DACA denied because USCIS questioned why it took so long to apply. Well, it depends if you are statutorily eligible. Okay, you might be statutorily eligible and no reason not to apply. You might be able to make a motion to reopen. Okay, my husband's a U.S. citizen and is stopped by ICE. Can he use his real ID to prove his citizenship? See, it's unfortunate that we have to ask questions like this. I mean, I understand why you're asking it. Because I assume that your husband doesn't, for all intents purposes, you're thinking wherever you live that a cop might look at him and not think he's a U.S. citizen, okay? And it's so wrong that they could stop people because of that. The real ID itself doesn't prove citizenship, just to let you know. Passport does, birth certificate, certificate of naturalization, okay? What he might want to do, just to be safe, because things are scary today, make a copy of the passport. I mean, he doesn't have to carry his passport around everywhere, but make a copy of it and put it in his wallet, okay? I mean, he can certainly show his real ID, but have a copy of the passport there too. And not the whole passport, not the 52 pages, just the one that shows he's a U.S. citizen with his name and the passport number, okay? And do you think Trump will get rid of DACA? He will certainly try. He will certainly try. If you're under DACA and you're married to a U.S. citizen, there is no reason you should not go forward and try to get the green card. I'm telling you, if you're afraid that you might have to leave the country because maybe you entered illegally, which you did because you're on DACA, you might very well qualify for a provisional waiver, okay, which means all that's taken care of while you're here, and you might actually only have to leave for a couple weeks. I would not sit there and not do anything if I were you. 100%. Okay? You have everything in your corner. You just have to use it. Okay? Entry was 2001, and I filed 2017 for DACA. Okay, I mean, you may or may not qualify. Thank you for the rose. Can you leave on advanced parole with a pending 485? I mean, the answer is yes, legally. If you're not inadmissible and you got advanced parole, that's a safe way to leave. Okay, that would be a safe way. But if you committed any crimes whatsoever, okay, or if there's any issues, then don't leave. Okay, if you have an extension letter for 36 months which expires in 2026, can you already go on a book trip? Extension letter for what? I need to... There's 1,000 different things you can get an extension letter for. Okay. If you have an extension of your residency, I mean, I don't know if you have applied, let's say you had the 2-year conditional green card and you got an extension letter for 36 months while they're adjudicating it, then that does extend your stay and you can travel. But to be absolutely safe, you should go down to immigration and get a 551 stamp in your passport, and then there's no issue whatsoever, for sure. Okay? Does the Riley Act affect DACA? On its face, it doesn't. Okay, just a second. Okay, well, I have to apologize because I have consultations I have to give now. I mean, like scheduled consultations in my office. So there's a ton of questions here. I'll try to get to them later. Okay. If not, you can certainly email me, send me through here or WhatsApp or any of the other multiple ways. So I apologize if I didn't get to your questions as of now. I got to as many as I could before I have to go do my consultations. All right. And everybody have a good day. I'll be back on the next live.